Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. I'm Terra Harvell, founder and CEO of Harper Ellis Hair Co., a hairstylist turned multimillionaire. Over the past decade, I've scaled a multi-million-dollar, highly profitable salon and built an 8-figure extension and education platform, Harper Ellis Hair Co. I'm also the founder of Strata Salon Systems, a salon infrastructure that is actively disrupting this industry. Some people love me for it, and some people absolutely hate me for it. But I'm on a mission to give stylists and salon owners a different future than what this industry has historically offered, which is being overworked, underpaid, no real wealth, and a career that breaks your body with nothing to show for it at the end. And now I'm on a mission to expand that impact through owners and stylists who are willing to question everything that they've been told. This podcast is where I share what's actually working, from business strategy to leadership to building real wealth in the beauty industry. Let's go. All right, there's a story women have been told for a very long time, and I just want to say it very plainly. Let's get it out of the way of what this podcast is about, because I think naming it is the first step to rejecting this entire concept. The story goes a lot like this. You can be a great mother, or you can be a wildly ambitious woman. You can build the beautiful family, or you can build the empire. And if you try to do both, something or someone eventually pays for it. But here's the thing about me. I do not buy that. I honestly never have. The truth is, I love being a mother. It's one of my favorite roles. I'm obsessed with my kid. But I also love walking into a room with a massive problem to solve, a company to grow, and money to make. And there is nothing wrong with that. Those two things can live inside the same woman. And I just think it's time that we said that out loud instead of apologizing for it. This is the conversation that I face so often, probably because I'm in a women-based industry, but this is the question that I get all the time. So let's talk about why we only ask women this question in the first place. I've always respected the way Emma Grede talks about this entire subject, because she doesn't pretend there's just some perfect formula where everything is just evenly split. She's pointed out something worth sitting with, if you ask me. Why is a woman who builds something enormous asked over and over, how do you do it all? But a man who builds a billion-dollar company and has 4 kids never get asked that same question. Nobody ever asked that guy who is watching their kids, and nobody ever asked him if he feels guilty or has dad guilt. We just assume that there's infrastructure behind his ambition. And I just honestly don't think it's very fair that we don't extend women the same assumption. We act amazed that a woman could build something big and be a mother like the two are in competition, and they're just not, you guys. I think that assumption is the actual problem, not the ambition. So here's the whole point of this podcast, and here's something more successful women need to start saying out loud. I don't do it all, and I don't even want to do it all. Here's the one thing about me is I'm open about the fact that I have help, because I think when we hide that, we accidentally set this impossible standard for other women who are looking to us and watching us build what we build. We show our company, we show the home, we show the marriage, we show the kids, the vacation, and someone is watching you thinking, how do you do that all on your own? And here's the fact. None of those women are doing it on their own. There is a team around them. There's childcare. There's an assistant. There's a housekeeper, an executive, a partner who actually shows up for them. Systems, and not just actual superpowers. And this is just where I think everyone gets it twisted. I myself, as a mother and a CEO, I don't want to medal for just pure exhaustion. I'm not trying to prove that I'm a good mother by running myself into the ground. And I'm not trying to prove I'm a good CEO by being the bottleneck on every decision inside of my company. What I actually want is just great people around me. And I've learned the question that changes everything isn't, how do I do all of this? It's who and what do I need around me so this actually works? And here's the thing, that's just a completely different perspective and a completely different question, but it's actually the one that gets you somewhere. For a long time, women were taught that doing everything ourselves is what makes us good. We have to cook everything. Guys, you would not catch me dead in my kitchen. Actually, every great once in a while, I'll cook a good batch of ramen noodles, right? You got to clean everything. You have to run the house. You have to manage the kids, take them everywhere, build the business, remember every birthday, stay in shape, look amazing, and somehow stay calm through all of it. And that's just absolutely not reality. And that is why I'm answering this on this podcast, because I reject that whole narrative completely. I don't want to be the woman who can carry everything. I want to be the woman smart enough to know when she should stop carrying all the responsibilities and have help and hire teammates and give other people an opportunity to be able to help you and delegate to these people. And delegation really isn't just a business strategy, it's a life strategy. If someone else can do something 80% as well as I can, and it frees me up to do the thing that only I can do, that's leverage. And that's how I do what I do. And leverage doesn't stop applying the second you just walk out of the office. It applies at home as well. And that was the biggest lesson that I learned on building a big business while also being a great mother. And the other thing too is I'm giving you guys a ton of permission on this podcast, but here's the thing. There's no shame in childcare. I spend more time with my child than honestly most working mothers do. And that's not a contradiction. That's the whole point of what I'm building. It's because what I've built, I have the freedom to be able to spend that time. And there's no shame in having a household assistant, an assistant at work, a leadership team that's not you at your job, or a partner or a husband who can actually participate in the life that you're building together. And that is key. The husband, the spouse has to participate in what you guys are building together, because you have to have support in what you're building. You have to have agreement in what you're building. And talking on this topic, which is something that I'm asked constantly, is honestly why I have such a problem with this industry's obsession with the solopreneur. Doing every single thing yourself, doing the hair, doing the marketing, do the bookkeeping, doing every single thing that it takes to run a business does not make you impressive. It just caps you, and it caps what you're capable of. It caps your capacity, and that means the capacity that it takes in order to be a great mother and be present with your kids. And being a solopreneur traps you as the only producer inside of your business, and that mindset will never give you the room to go be the mother that you want to be. And it will be something that you constantly battle, and you won't be able to build something big. You have to choose one. If you insist on doing it all alone, you really do have to pick. And that's why so many people inside this industry do have to pick between building a business and being a great parent. Now I want to say something that might make a few of you uncomfortable, and I'm totally okay with that, but I do think it needs to be said. I have watched so many talented women quit on their dreams. And almost every time when you ask why, the answer comes back the same way. I just want to be a present mom. I couldn't figure out how to do both. Motherhood had to come first before my dreams. And I just want to be really clear about something. I don't think that's actually the truth most of the time. I think motherhood has become the most socially acceptable excuse a woman can hand back when she's scared, or she's stuck, or tired, or simply decides it's easier just to stop. And nobody questions it because it's that excuse, right? Nobody pushes back on someone that wants to go be a great mother. And if a woman says she stepped away from her dreams for her kids, she gets applauded for that. And nobody says, wait, are you sure that's the real reason? And that's my problem with all of that. It's the one exit ramp in our culture that comes with a round of applause instead of a hard conversation. But here's where you don't need to get what I'm saying to you twisted, because they're two different things. I am not talking about a woman intentionally choosing a season where your family needs more of you, because that is real. And I have actually lived that. And I respect that completely. I'm talking about something completely different. Using motherhood as the permanent explanation for why the dream you have simply just stopped. And using motherhood for, the book that never got written, the business that never got started, the promotion that never got pursued, the brand shut down quietly and blamed it on just needing to focus on my family, when the truth was closer to fear of failure or just comfort, or nobody around you modeling how you can do both. And here's why I think that costs so much more than people realize. Number one, it costs the whole path, because once a woman convinces herself motherhood and ambition cannot coexist, she stops looking for the systems, the support, the childcare, the leadership team that would have made that possible. And she never even builds the bridge because she's already decided the two sides cannot connect. And so usually things don't even get started, and they don't even have the opportunity because you've shut it down because of your guilt or your responsibility. And it costs the impact. The businesses that never gets launched, or doesn't just cost you as an individual, it costs the employees who never get hired, the opportunity that you could create for for so many people. The clients who never got served by you and all of the potential that you have, and the community never gets built around it. Ambition abandoned doesn't just disappear quietly. It takes a ripple of impact down with it. And the other thing is it costs purpose, because a woman who quietly shelves her dream and calls it motherhood often spends years feeling unsettled without fully understanding why. I've had so many of these conversations with so many different mothers, especially older ones, that their kids are grown and moved out, and I see them not being fulfilled because they're a mother, and they're unfulfilled because she's talking herself out of the thing that they wanted to build and do, but gave it a socially acceptable name, and I shelved it for motherhood. And the thing is, I'm not shaming, go back to what I said, I need to say this again, I'm not shaming anyone that decides that your family needs you more in that season. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm giving permission to those out there that are battling, building something big, and dealing with this guilt that they have in motherhood. And I battled this for so many years. I took therapy over this for so many years. And I'll never forget the therapist that I had at the time literally said, Tara, you do not have to be the cookie cutter Martha Stewart mother. Like, that was her advice to me. And that sat with me. It still sits with me for so many years, because why did I let society write my story, or the way that I thought my story should go? And the minute that I was willing to think differently was the minute that I had peace on the side of building a big business, but also realizing that I am a really present mother. I spend so many hours with Fletcher, and I'll talk about that here in a minute, but I don't think that there's times that he needs more of me. And when he does need me, guess who I choose? Him. I choose him every single time, because that's what my priorities are. There's a difference, you guys, in choosing and shelving dreams because of motherhood and just having your priorities straight. Both can coexist. You can have your priorities straight. Family can come first, which is what I believe should happen. Kids should come before your business, which is what I believe should happen. And then you can also build. They can absolutely coexist, I promise. But the other thing that it costs is the potential. And it costs the potential of your children, because think about this, you guys. When a daughter watches her mother quietly retire their ambition and call it sacrifice, that daughter absorbs the lesson, whether anyone wants to talk about it or not. Eventually, their dreams may get smaller. And that's the cycle that I'm trying to break within mothers and mothers who want to build something big. But the thing is, motherhood is not stopping most women. Lack of support is, lack of belief is, and the lack of a plan is. Fear is just dressed up as devotion and, being devoted to being a mother. And motherhood makes it an easy scapegoat because it can't argue back, and no one will ever call you selfish for choosing your kids. But the thing is, you don't have to make a choice. That's the point I'm trying to make. Your kids are never meant to be the obstacle living life and building something big. Now, let's just talk about the mom guilt. This is where it gets a little complicated, because we confuse quantity of time with quality of connection. Here's the truth. My kid doesn't need access to me every minute of every day. I know this is a fact, because he is well taken care of every single day. We have the blessing of my husband being able to work from home and run our real estate and our ranch from around the house, so he has access to him a lot. We also have a wonderful house manager that cares for our son all the time. He doesn't actually need me, if we want to talk about the needs, right? But what I do know is that he needs to know that I love him. And he needs to know that he's safe with me, right? And he needs to know that I will be there every single time when he needs me. Because what I see happening a lot is you can sit next to your child for 3 hours with your brain and your phone, or you can give them 30 minutes where they actually have your full attention. Because what we have to understand is presence isn't proximity. Presence is connection. And that's the version of motherhood that I'm chasing. This ties into something else that Emma Grede talks about a lot that I really connected with when I heard it. She doesn't treat work as something that has to be hidden from her kids. I absolutely love that framing, because what if our children watching us work isn't something we're taking from them at all? What if it's something that we're giving them? I want my son to see me build. I also want him to hear conversations about my big ideas and then watch them come to life. I want him to hear me talk about money and about leadership. And I also want him to see me make really hard decisions and also watch me fail sometimes, but then watch me get right back up, because I want him to understand that companies don't just appear and somebody takes that risk. People get rejected. I get rejected all the time. I lose and I learn and I keep trying. I don't want to just leave my son money. I want to leave him the mindset that made that money. And that's a very different inheritance to me. I just want my child to be able to chase his own dreams, but the truth is, he will struggle if I don't equip him with the truth that it takes to build something big and the mindset that it takes. I don't want my son to grow up thinking, Mom gave up everything for me. I want him to say, my mom loved me so much that my mom had dreams and she built them, all while raising me, all while loving me, all while being present with me. Because again, two can coexist. And this matters so much for our kids because I want my child to grow up watching other women lead. I want my son to see that women can lead and build wealth, and watching, his dad support his mom's ambition, and watch, both of his parents build the family and build the dream together. I want my son to take, when he gets married someday and wants to build his own dreams, that it really does take a team and people don't build great things by themselves. And I think that's the lesson that he will learn when he grows up, and he'll be equipped to do what he wants to do and chase his dreams and not need to feel limited or capped by whatever else is going on in life. And a big decision that I've made is this sort of change around this narrative is something that is made inside of my home. And it's made in real time right in front of my son. Does that mean that I never ever feel guilty? Of course not. There are meetings where my mind drifts to my family, and moments with my family where my brain is still trying to solve something at work. I mean, it just happens. It's natural. And I'm not just trying to battle that, because I will drive myself crazy battling that. And just the other day, I had this important meeting, and my son and husband headed to the trampoline park. And I really thought, this really sucks. But what did I get? I got the whole next day with him. And, business and motherhood is just a trade-off, and you have to be okay with that. But I've stopped treating my guilt as proof I'm doing something wrong. Sometimes guilt is just what it feels to care deeply about two things at once. And I just think women need permission to hear that. You can love your children enormously and still want something for yourself. You can want bedtime stories and boardrooms. I promise. Both can exist inside of your life. You don't have to amputate one part of yourself to prove the other part is real. I'm giving you that permission. What you decide to believe from here after hearing this is completely on you. And here's another belief that I've let go of. I don't believe in balance. The idea that everything gets equal attention on any given day is just a total myth. And honestly, it's just bullshit. And that's fine, because balance sets up an expectation that doesn't exist anywhere in real life. There's a reason why you constantly see people chase it, because they actually never catch it. That's why they always talk about it. My life honestly just runs in seasons. And some weeks, my family needs more of me, and I'm fully there for them, and I choose that. The goal was never a perfect 50-50 split every single day. The goal is alignment over time. When something needs more, I give it more. When the season shifts, I just shift with it, and I keep it simple, and I don't overcomplicate it. And here's where my CEO brain comes into all of this. If your business grows every year, but demands more of you every single year, what are you even building? Because the goal was never to build something so big it just owns you. The goal is just leverage. More revenue creates more resources. Better resources create better people. And better people build better systems. And better systems buy back your time. That's the whole point of scaling. That's why I have a really hard time when I see mothers, business owners, salon owners say, I don't want to scale. That, to me, that does not make sense if you want to be a great mother. In the beginning of your business, you are doing everything yourself. I've lived that season, and it's necessary for a while, but you cannot stay there. At some point, the business has to mature, and so do you as the business owner. You need to hire the assistant, the operator, the childcare, the housekeeper, build the team, automate what can be automated. Stop spending your highest value hours proving you can do low value work. Your success should eventually buy your time back, because money was never just about things. Money is about choices. And that's what freedom actually is. That's why this industry has freedom so confused. And that leads me to my next point. I want women comfortable saying out loud, I want to make a lot of money. I want mothers owning companies, owning equity, sitting at the table where the financial decisions actually get made. Money gives women options to hire, help, build opportunity, take care of their families, leave situations they shouldn't stay in. There's nothing selfish about building wealth. What matters is what you actually do with it once you have it. So if you're sitting there thinking, I don't know how I could possibly do both, I'd ask you to change the question. Don't ask, do I have to choose? Ask, what would need to exist around me to make both things possible? And maybe that is childcare. Maybe it's stronger leadership team inside of your business. Maybe it's just a real conversation with your partner about support actually looks like and you two being on the same page and building that life together. Maybe it's actually hiring the assistant or just building better systems or putting a boundary on your phone. I've had to do that. Or here's the thing, and the truth for you guys, maybe it's just simply stop caring what other people think and stop caring who you aren't living your life thinking about how you're living it. And stop caring about other people that want to talk about how you're actually living your life. That has to come to a hard stop. There will always be someone with an opinion about ambitious women. It just is the truth. You're either too much, you're not enough, you're too aggressive, you're too soft, you're too focused on the kids, you're too focused on the company. And at some point, you have to stop building your life around avoiding somebody else's commentary. I just refuse to believe the best version of my life requires choosing between the people I love and the person I'm capable of becoming, because I know that I don't have to choose between the two. I want the family and I want the business. I want the memories and I want the meetings. I want the bedtime stories and I want the big business deals. And I know that I can do both. Will I execute all of it perfectly? Absolutely not. I'll miss things. I'll get seasons wrong and I'll have to adjust. And that's what building anything worthwhile actually looks like. And I just don't want to lie to you guys that are building something big. But I will not teach my child that love requires just disappearing. And I'm going to teach him that you can love your family deeply and honor that ambition inside of you. To the mother answering emails in the school pickup line, to the founder building her company after the kids go to sleep, to the woman wondering if wanting something massive makes you selfish, go build the damn thing. Go do it. Build it. Build the company, build the wealth, build the team, build the family, build the memories, and build enough support around yourself that you can actually get to enjoy the life that you're creating. I promise you, your children do not need a mother who disappeared for them. They need to know that they were deeply loved and they need to see what is possible. So don't make yourself smaller to prove that you're a good mother. You do not have to. Become the woman you want your children to believe they can become as well. You do not have to choose between motherhood and building an empire. You just have to stop believing you were supposed to build either one alone.